Hi, I'm homosexual Bryan Safi.
And I'm feminasty Erin Gibson.
And this is Attitudes.
Gender issues.
LGBT plus issues.
Pop culture.
You and me and me and you and T for three. I invited a third. Can you handle it?
It's the only kind of throuple I'll do.
At tea time.
Throuples, yes.
That's right. At tea
yes.
Time. Erin, you just look fantastic.
What's it called when you do a foursome?
Quad
City DJs?
Quad City DJs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's called a quad. I'll meet you in the quad. That's what's so perverted. College students so perverted. So they're perverted.
Because four holes.
They're perverts. Yeah. And they say, I'll meet you in the quad. And what they mean is like, I'll meet you with three other people in the bedroom.
But I don't think they are perverts. I think they're like not perverts. Doing anything.
Really?
But then also like, choking each other.
What?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I have
They're not doing anything, but they are choking each other.
I have a nephew, and the things he tells me, I wish I had never heard.
Because they learn everything from porn, but so did we.
But this is bad. What did I learn to do? Huh? Take it in the face? Not choke somebody out.
The fuck is wrong with you? It is Sunday, Erin, and I'm not a religious person, but it is Sunday. S-U-N day. When I was a kid in Sunday school, the Sunday school was going to create a theater group. And I was like, whatever, 7, 8, called Sunday, S-O-N day. Yeah. Like, you know,
okay. Christ. Like all the sons. Oh,
S-O-N. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I begged my mom to do it. And she said, I don't like the person who's running it. And I go, why? And she goes, she's weird.
Not very Christ-like.
No. So I couldn't even join it.
That's so sad, Bryan.
I know my life could have been so different. I could have been a church mime. I could have been a church, you know what I mean, performer. I could have been a priest.
Do you know whenever I order strawberry ice cream, which I did yesterday?
Are you sweet? Uh-huh.
I go, give me the Bryan Safi special.
Thank you.
And they go,
and they say,
what
the fuck is that?
Ma'am, this is a small ice cream shack on Bowen Island.
What's Bowen Island?
Oh, we rented a boat yesterday and took a boat from Vancouver to Bowen Island, which is this little it's like a subdivision island of Vancouver.
Fabulous. Did you see any whales on the way?
No, okay. But they do have these signs that are like, if you see a blow, go slow, which is my approach to blowjobs. But
yes, it's slow as possible.
Because there's a big old whale underneath you.
If a blowjob takes less than 180 minutes, you're doing it wrong. You know.
So we took a boat to Bowen Island. However,
wonderful.
No, not today. Not this day. Who decided to take a boat when they were doing a sailing race and there were 200 sailboats?
Stop it. Oh my God, I would die. I would do anything to have seen this.
So we go and we start docking and we're like, what the fuck is going on? In the distance, it's like full Game of Thrones. There's like sailboats everywhere. And I'm like, what's happening? We dock in Bowen Island. They're like, this lady's like, can I help you? Everyone has yachts or sailboats. And we're in this dinky little rental.
Oh my God, I'm so into this.
And of course, Ale grew up very wealthy. And so I don't know if he's having some kind of, he just likes being on the water, but he is in a dinky boat. I don't know 8 ways from Sunday. I'm in a boat. That's all I know.
Did he ever smash anyone over the head on a boat like talented Mr. Ripley?
No, but do you know that he cannot watch Wolf of Wall Street because his dad also wrecked a yacht going out in a bad storm?
Oh my God.
And he gets panic attacks, basically. Amazing. Anyway, listen, his dad fucked that all up. So that's not the situation anymore. But we pull up and there's all these like boat people. And when I tell you boat people are like, to me, what it seemed to me, they were like, we don't care if you're in a dingy ass boat.
Oh no, they're aggressive.
No, they were like very sweet. They're like, ahoy, matey. Essentially.
I'm in shock. To me, they always seem really aggressive.
That's what I thought. Not, I guess maybe it's
because they're like
Canada.
Sunburnt, windburnt. They
were all drunk. Right. And these two women were like, let us help you. And they're in this like fucking $200,000 boat. Anyway, I go, They go,
No,
you sure
boat
can
people
park?
like to dig in and rip out. You know what I mean? They like to get in there.
They really fucking do.
Yeah.
There was this boathouse that was like on the dock of the bay.
Mhm.
I don't know any terms. So we finally parked and she goes, good thing you got here because 200 boats are about to try to dock here. This is like a small ass.
I love it.
I was like, what do you mean? And she goes, there's a sailboat race going on. Oh, and then there's all kinds of I'm telling you, when the sun comes out in Canada, watch yourself for the fucking peep. It is like spring break, 1997.
Get it while you
MTV.
can.
Yes, it is full Eric Nice the grind up in Canada. Okay.
I love it.
These people are wilding out. Okay. Because the sun's out, guns out. They're doing it. They're like tarps off, all of it.
Yeah.
So,
and we learned last week that tarp means top.
Top. Yeah. Tops off. They are Canadians in the summer in Vancouver are a sight to be seen. Anyway, on the way. So we're like, oh my God, we got ourselves in the middle of a boat race. Then I had strawberry ice cream and thought of you. It was the best strawberry ice cream I've ever had.
Terrific.
Got back on the boat. We see these pirates, these people dressed as pirates close to Vancouver. Okay. And they're shooting people with water cannons. And I don't know what's going on. Okay.
Absolutely exhausted by that.
We return the boat. Ole goes, what's up with the pirates? They're just drunk people out having a good time, just shenanigans in the water.
Right.
And the teenager working at the boat rental place goes, it's a charity event for children with disabilities.
Okay.
So maybe you should not be so judgy.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next time you see a pirate, thank them.
Think that when you see a pirate in a Party City costume with water cannons.
Yeah.
Don't be so quick to judge.
No.
Do not be so quick to judge.
Don't do it.
How are you, my darling? You're back in Los Angeles. Did you go check out Yonkers for me?
You know,
that's next trip.
Well, I had to come back. Do you understand that I had a leak? Did I tell you this?
You had a leaky gut?
No, I had a leaky gunt. No, Erin, I don't know how you get me to say these things, honestly.
It's my only purpose in life.
So I was told when I was in New York that there was a leak from like my fridge line that went into my wall under the floor and then into and I had no idea because it wasn't actually leaking into my place.
No, how could you know? It's going below you.
How could I know? So
what lies beneath, essentially?
Right. Yeah. So I talked to the person who there's the HOA president at this place who I absolutely love. She's fantastic.
Thank God.
Such a boss. And she's a key of mine. And I said, I'm in New York. Can you go in? And she was like, yeah, like it looks like you probably are going to have to replace your floor, which is fine. They were like cheap laminate, like no big deal. I haven't changed anything since I've moved here, except like some things. Great sentence. Put it on.
I have a gorgeous tile that I would love to audition for you.
Well, that's fine. But here's my thing. So I was like, no problem. Great. So then she said, you're probably going to have someone come and do remediation in case there's mold. Like they should at least inspect it. I was like, sounds good. Honey, all I know is they said I was going to have to replace the floor. And this is my kitchen right now. No, wait, that's my living room.
Okay.
Let me find it.
So the whole floor is water damaged?
There's nothing there.
The whole floor is water damaged.
There's no walls in my kitchen anymore. There's no cabinets.
But why did they rip all of it out?
Because there had been mold behind the wall. So they had to...
Like it had been leaking that long?
Yes. So they had to rip everything. And then, by the way, everyone I've talked to, including my doctor...
Okay.
Because I was at the doctor and it goes, you seem stressed. Everyone said, you really shouldn't go through your homeowner's insurance because...
the rates will spike?
Or you'll get dropped. So I am having to suddenly pay. You know what? This is not an interesting story. It's just been a nightmare. Let's get into something brighter, but it's been a nightmare. But I will say this.
I would love to would you please sideline with me and Alessandro Monoli? Because I've been through a leak or two.
Yes.
This is not my first leaky rodeo.
I need a new floor, a new wall, new carpet in my living room because like 5 feet of it was affected. It's just been awful. And then an environmental tester came out yesterday because they have to test it to make sure the mold's actually gone. And then they take it to a lab and then the lab calls me. And I'm like, I don't know. I can't interpret results.
Okay. I think we could, let's sideline on this because I think we can help you.
That's fine. But if we sign line, I have to be in the position of the dead bug. Meaning I'll be on my back with my arms up and my legs up because I actually can't take it.
I think we could walk you through a plan that won't be exhausting.
That's fine. But if the plan involves selling leggings, I'm not in.
Oh. Okay.
So you might want to
I'll keep that. You know what? I'm going to pivot.
I'll tell you what okay, good. I thought I knew I had to throw that in there. I did go to a protest on Saturday, by the way.
Oh, the No Kings? I almost said all
No
Kings.
King.
By the way, let me tell you something. There was a protest.
Yes, I went to the counter programming protest. I went to the military parade.
There was one here in Vancouver that we went to.
Oh, nice.
It was adorable is what it was.
Yeah.
To see it. But it is a weird message here because, as you know, Canada has King, what's his name on the money?
King Charles.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
right.
It's weird.
They're like a Commonwealth country.
We had to really, really thread a fine little tiny needle here.
Will they still take Queen Elizabeth money? I feel like they will. Because I have some Canadian dollars that have Queen Elizabeth on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll take it.
They'll take it.
They don't care whose face is on it.
But I got to say, so my friend Stephanie, not the one you're thinking, a different Stephanie that I met playing tennis.
Mm-hmm. No, I do know that Stephanie, correct? Did I not meet
probably.
her?
Yes.
Is she a fabulous lesbian?
She's a fabulous lesbian.
Is she married to a drummer?
She's a fat les. What?
Is she married to a drummer?
She's partners with a drummer, yes.
Okay.
They're not married, which I find disgusting.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm horrified by it.
No,
I have
met
such
her,
a moral opposition to what they're doing over there.
I met her at
My show, maybe?
No. I met her at,
oh my God, you met her at Laurie Anderson.
Laurie Anderson, yes.
That's right. That's so
I do
funny.
know that, Stephanie. I love that, Stephanie.
Shout out to Stephanie.
My goal is
shout out to Patty.
My goal is to look like Stephanie at every day of the year. I want Stephanie to dress me.
Well, she said, "Hey,
she's a costumer? She's an art somehow. No,
she's a designer. She's a graphic designer.
She's living the life.
She's amazing
visually.
But she said, I want to go to a protest in West Hollywood. And I thought, like, God, really? That's so far. They have one right here in Hollywood. Like, let's just do that. But I went, and I got to tell you, West Hollywood. I
saw the pictures.
Honey,
can I see your pictures?
This sign says prevent unwanted presidencies. And it's Donald Trump as a baby. It's so funny.
I love it. Is that hers?
And then Stephanie made this one for me.
No kings except BB and Carol.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you. Like,
you hear that, Larry? You hear that, Larry?
Hear that, Larry King? I think what gets lost sometimes is like how fun these things can be. Like, obviously they're important. I'm certainly not taking away from the message and they're crucial. But also, like, if you go with the right group, like, it's really fun.
Yeah. I remember going to the protests at LAX when they were detaining people, first Trump presidency.
I went to that one too. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, you know what? People need in places like LA that feel very siloed a lot of the time.
Yes.
Is community.
Exactly. Honestly, it's nice to see so many people gather in LA like that. Because to be honest with you, it doesn't really happen that much. And then afterward, we went to the Abbey, which I haven't been to in a million years, which for those of you who don't know, it might be the most famous gay bar in the country. It's up there. And
is that the Pink Pony Club?
I don't know.
What is that place that's referenced in Chapel Roan?
Oh, maybe the Abbey. I'm not sure, actually. I love that song, but I don't know which one she's referencing. But there was a group, oh God, Erin, there was like a bachelorette party there from Manhattan Beach, which is the most conservative part of like LA.
Like the beach communities of, yeah.
Right. Very moneyed. And they were there. They were all dressed in pink dresses and like basket wedges. That's what I'm calling them. I don't know if that's a real name.
Oh, I know. Cork.
All quirky.
They're all in the same color pink.
All in the same color pink, wearing
like Handmaid's Tale, but make it fun. Nightmare.
Meanwhile, do you remember
by the way, if a bride said, I am dictating your outfit for the bachelorette party, I would be like, we're not friends anymore. Never delete my number.
Yep. And then which is fine that they were there, like whatever. I don't really care about that so much.
Was it second wedding?
I get wanting.
Was it second wedding?
I'm sure. And I got to tell you this, I get actually, like now that marriage is legal, I get bachelorette parties at a gay bar. I used to be annoyed by them just because before marriage was passed, like, you know, that was annoying. But now I get it. Like, you don't want to get hit on. You don't want to feel uncomfortable. Like, fine, I get it. Except that, was her name, that fabulous drag queen that was on RuPaul's Drag Race, was it Lala Reed, something like that? Do you remember her?
Yeah.
She was on All Stars too. Well, she performed. She was absolutely fantastic. Everyone there was
my
great.
God.
She's so
Sparkles.
great. And then one of these assholes said, no, I like places like this, but like this kind of stuff makes me uncomfortable.
Then get the fuck out. What?
But I just drank a
did
Diet
anyone
Coke.
hear them?
Me. That was it. I was hanging on every word. Honestly, I loved them. I thought they were terrific. So
they sound wonderful.
It was wonderful, but I got to tell you,
exactly the kind of women I want to hang out with.
I've never really been drawn to West Hollywood, but the people watching is so fucking good. Like the Abbey on a Saturday or Sunday is really where it's at. If you want to see the best and worst of us, it's there. It's all right there. And that's it.
There you go. I mean, speaking of the worst of us, Bryan.
Oh my God.
We have a show for you today.
This is the show to end all shows.
Listen, now, Sergio, do you want to come on and talk about what you have done?
Okay, so for
this summer,
for those who don't know, TikTok, this show from the late 90s, early 2000s called Decorating Scents has been going viral.
Which our friend LP, by the way, used to watch all the time.
So the show ran from 1997 to 2004. I found it on Discovery Plus and hacked away to like screen record it to present to Bryan and Erin for this new thing we're doing today.
God love you.
And
so this is hackathon. It was basically hackathon to get these visuals.
Yeah, and I'm hoping I don't pull another Diane Thomas and have Bryan and Erin never want to see the show again. Because
Sergio said, I hope it's not this thing where you get what you want and you wish you didn't have it.
We're like moths to a flame though, Sergio. Like we get too close to the sun and then we get burned. But so listen, I will not hold you accountable because I'm so excited.
Is the host name Joan Steffen?
The host that I feel is like the HGTV Diane Thomas. Her name is Joan Steffen. She's in every episode, and they get a random designer to do the room makeover for $500 or less.
Any more references to her design scheme being primitive? Remember how she kept saying that?
I pulled one that does have a primitive in it.
Oh my God.
This is shocking. I do think this is one to watch. I do think this will be one to watch. If here's my prediction of how it's going to go. It's going to be just a real feast, a buffet of last time.
Yes.
Or you're going to watch us descend into absolute depression.
Yeah.
Those are the two options. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle, but I don't think so. We don't really do the middle very well.
No.
We also have Vault episode 95.
Yeah.
Summer regrets and hookups. Bryan hooked up with someone on a lifeguard stand.
Yep, I sure did. I remember that.
Erin goes to a bar, pours a pint on the floor and sits on it. I think half of that is a lie.
Honestly, Erin, it's a terrific. I mean, talk about an arc.
Hey, Sergio,
that really is first act.
What year is that?
I don't know.
Okay, well,
I think
Bryan,
it was 2013, summer 2013.
Okay.
Oh, and then I ponder if British people called yeast infections the yeasties. And if they yell, the British are coming when they climax.
We still haven't got the answer. So Brits, please let us know what's up with that. And then Bryan, do you want to tell people what you're doing this summer? What you did this summer?
I'll be wearing a very sexy what do you call it? Tarp. And I'll be in Edinburgh doing my show Are You Mad at Me from July 30th to August 25th. July 30th is my birthday, by the way. So my first show will be on my birthday.
That's exciting.
I know. And if you're not going to be in Scotland but know of someone who might be, or just in the UK in general, please come see my show. You can go get tickets at bryansafi.com, or you can go to my Instagram at bryansafi and click on the link. It'll take you right there. And and also, you can get the first act of our video episodes every week for free on YouTube by searching Attitudes Pod. So
that's all you need to do.
It's all available for you.
It's all there. Should we get into some shoes?
Let's do it.
This is a story from Atmos, which is a gorgeous publication I just found out about, focused on social and climate justice. And the story was sent to me via Alessandro Manoli, my own husband.
Come through, Alessandro, you yachter.
You yarter.
Yarder.
Okay, I recommend that you read this whole article. Also, this publication is also stunning. Like the photos that they use for, I think it's a print publication. Can you spell it? Atmos, like atmosphere.
Oh, okay.
But you should read the whole article, but I'm going to parse out just the kind of thesis that they put forward, and it tracks too hard. So they discuss a duo called Newell and Taylor. No, they are not the best harmonic duo since the Judds.
Ugh.
They are Vivian Taylor and Philip Newell, climate policy experts who used to work at a climate communications firm, Climate Nexus, which is since defunct. But when they worked there in 2021, they both put together a connection. And the connection was this. There's a lot of fossil fuel money going into organizations that are anti-trans.
Interesting. Wow.
And what they found, so they go, this seems weird. Let's investigate this. Because they were emoji, hand under chin, monocle.
One of my
curious
favorites.
Eyebrow.
Yeah.
Okay. So what Newell and Taylor noticed is that Republicans were using hate bait to build their support for their party because the policy platforms that Republicans were standing on were glued together garbage. My words, not theirs. What Vivian thought was, this was something all these anti-trans bills were the old sleight of hand. Okay. So you don't see the quarter coming from the back of the fingers, but what they're pulling out is trans hate out of your ear, but they're pickpocketing you with climate change denial on the other hand.
Wow.
Okay.
I like
so
that.
they started looking.
I mean, I don't like that. I like how you put it.
But when you put it, okay. So look, because at the end of the day, if you ask yourself a question, what the fuck do billionaires give one fucking shit about trans people in the world? Like why do they care?
Right.
They're busy with their chocolate wine and their yachts and the fucking whatever
Absolutely.
sex parties they're putting on, the eyes wide shut shit. Like they're perfectly happy having their own little fucked up little dynasties.
Yeah.
Unless
interacting with as few people as possible.
Yes. Yelling at the help. Unless there is something happening that could possibly hurt their bottom line. And the thing that could hurt their bottom line is everyone going, you guys are fucking ruining the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So if you kind of got people a little bit focused on a marginalized group per se, okay, maybe they won't notice the stuff happening with climate change, right? Because I don't know how to really philosophically link these two things together because I think it's so thin. But I think in their minds, they're like, if you care about trans people, you care about the climate. So if we could attack trans people and you're so busy defending trans people, you won't have time to yell at us about climate change.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, that does seem like a playbook thing.
Right?
Of the right. Yeah.
It's a tale as old as time. Mm-hmm. They don't have, their platform is attacking things and not building things. And protecting the bottom line. And here is
pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
These are the receipts to pull it all together. So they started looking into the connections. Alliance Defending Freedom is one of the most outspoken anti-trans groups in the hate game. They sued Minnesota to not allow trans girls and women in women's sports. They love a bathroom bill. But how can they pursue all of these lawsuits? How could they possibly open up their little coin purse and do this? Lawyers cost money. Fancy briefcases that they slam down at the table at the beginning of court proceedings to elicit a sense of authority. Those cost money.
Those fucking just nasty ass washed jeans with Asics.
Yes.
That costs a lot of money.
Yes. Shiny watches that blind the jury.
Yeah.
Okay. Good hair paste. That all costs money. Okay. Yeah. A Garmento manicure.
Yep.
you know?
Absolutely. Yes.
All of it costs money. The toothpick that they bring in to give them a sense of casualness.
Absolutely.
The everyday man.
Private jazz dancing lessons. I mean, it all costs a lot of money.
It costs so much money. Gold tires cost money.
Yeah. Calling Aruba.
Costs money, okay? Bringing back the BlackBerry costs money.
It certainly does.
Yes. And they're getting
those hyperbolic chambers.
Money.
Fucking cryotherapy every 2 minutes.
Yes. Putting a geo-tracker inside your own cornea. That costs money.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Using, like, if you have a Zoom Plus subscription.
Costs money. You're still using Skype. That costs money.
Costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because it's shut down now, basically. So, like, can you imagine if you're still using it? That costs a lot of money.
Can you imagine using Skype? How much money that must cost?
I know.
They're just drowning in copies.
Yes.
3-hole punch copies. They make the copies where you have to put it on, the clipboards with the big rings on the top?
Of course I do.
They love those. And I don't even know where you get those. You've got to search eBay or something.
I got to tell you, what they when they talked about power postures, remember that whole lie? They really should have talked about what really gets you confident is holding a clipboard.
Oh, nothing.
Nothing says power like that. Like, everything about me changes if I have a clipboard in my arm.
Yes. Oh my God. And how have you integrated the clipboard into your Edinburgh show?
You know what? I'm going to, at the end, I'm going to get everyone's names, and then I'm going to say, I need your name, I need your date of birth, and I need your social security number, or whatever it is.
A thing everyone's comfortable giving out these days.
Exactly. Yeah, because what's the point? Everyone can access it.
Yeah, who cares?
And I'll say,
it's just for your files.
My use only. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So that stuff all costs money. Okay. And this particular group is getting money from Shell and fossil fuel billionaire Phil Onschultz, who you might have heard on this show because he has a live entertainment group that puts on Coachella.
Oh, right. I think
this guy.
We're talking about him.
He also donates money to Alliance Defending Freedom, this group that is very much on the anti-trans platform.
Sure. Alliance Rolling Back Freedoms.
Yes. Defending freedom for the fossil fuel companies or whatever the fuck they're doing.
Right.
Phil also donated to 9 other conservative transphobic entities. I wish I had known that this fuck dick was running the show back in the day because
so good, Erin.
Saved me 2 summers in Coachella watching Florence and the Machine as sweat drip from my head to my toes.
Sure. Well, imagine how she felt. Why don't you put yourself in someone else's shoes every now and then?
Well, hey, listen, I think artists should understand who's running the show there.
I agree.
You know what I mean? If you're really a fucking ally, and he's said time and time again that he's not anti-LGBTQ, but follow the money trail. His nonprofit organization is, and he's funding it. So just because you have one layer of separation doesn't mean that that's not an extension of yourself. They linked an independent analysis of 45 anti-trans right-wing groups, and 80% of them have received donations from fossil fuel companies or billionaires. So the Daily Wire, co-founded by Ben Shapiro, has gotten $4.7 million from Dan and Ferris Wilkes, who made their money on fracking. The Koch brothers, one of whom is now a fossil fuel himself, donate.
And by the way, they are somehow 5 million years old, so they could qualify as fossil fuels.
Well, one of them's dead.
No, I know. But he was alive for 5 million years.
He was off-gassing from the minute he was born.
Remember, it's the one that one of them survived a plane crash on U.S. Airways and was the only survivor. These people don't go away.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that I wish death on anyone, but these people do not go away. Yeah.
Koch brothers donate to the American Enterprise Institute, which denies climate change while also writing about trans erasure. So they're doing a twofer. They also fund the American Legislative Exchange Council, we know on the show as ALEC, who make the MADLA bills for hate and been very bullish on bathroom bills, anti-DEI policies, and restricting schools from even discussing gender identity. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what, it's not just the USA, baby, where these assholes are being funded by fossil fuel companies. Our bad ideas are seeping into the supply. Oh, Canada.
Uh-oh.
Alberta, Canada.
Oh, well, Alberta, the Texas
I
of
know,
Canada.
but still. In February of this year, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith unveiled sweeping changes to policies related to students and gender identity, restricting medical treatments that trans children would be seeking, including prohibiting hormonal treatment, puberty blockers, gender affirming surgery for children under 15, and banning gender related surgery for minors. Guess where she's taking money? From the fucking oil and gas companies. They have funded her campaign. And it's not just Canada. Oh, London.
Oh.
The Tories have received $8.4 million from fossil fuel interests. Now, listen, this might be a no duh for people who listen to this show, but maybe this is going to be a moment for someone that you share this episode with, or maybe a what the fuck from a person who hears this show when your Bluetooth earphones disconnect suddenly due to a solar flare. We have to keep, I don't care if you do already know about it. We have to keep talking about it, and we have to start being aware, because it won't just be enough to defend the rights of trans people. We have to, at the same time, talk about where these hate groups are getting their money.
Yeah, and what all
and
this smoke
why they're
screening
doing
is,
it.
you know?
What are they doing? And listen, attacking the most vulnerable of our population, to me,
lose-lose.
It is.
Yeah. There's just nothing good about it. If you just take the most vulnerable people in our population and treat them as well as the richest white guy in the population, everyone wins.
Yes. And you know what? Fossil fuel companies, quit being so fucking lazy. Why don't you start investing into clean energy so you don't lose your fucking shirt? If you want to stay rich, then you got to fucking do it by hard work. Don't do it by ruining the fucking planet. And
fossil fuel is lazy anyway, because they're just like, what's lying around? What's been here?
Yeah. We're fucking it's just dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And these people are dinosaurs, and they need to go the way of the dinosaurs, if you ask me. Okay? You know how they're making money off of dinosaur liquid? Well, they need to get going on the same pace. You know what I mean?
You understand?
We need them to be dinosaurs themselves.
Get off the pacemakers and get on the pace.
Because don't you think it's like, it is psychotic that a billionaire should care about somebody's rights?
I mean,
what the fuck do they care? Except if it's a tool.
They actually don't. They don't care one way or another.
No, they don't care one way or the other. So the fact that they're using it as a tool to protect their own interests, so that people will be so busy with that they won't realize that they're continuing to do all the things that we already know are happening. Mm-hmm. Fucking heat domes, fires, all the things that we're all experiencing could be mitigated. Is that the right word? By these companies. And they'd rather not do that because they're making so much money.
Yeah.
And they'd rather put a bathroom bill on the fucking, and the way they're doing it is they have puppets who they've been giving money to, who are very happy to parrot their shitty fucking ideas.
I know a couple who has a lot of puppets, and the puppets always ask for money. And if you give them money, I can't really get into more detail than this. Just take my word for it.
Okay.
If you give them money, which they ask for and don't stop asking for, they take the money and then they don't give it back. So these people just ask for money via puppets, and then they don't give the money back.
Where, am I allowed to ask where this happens?
Offline.
IRL?
Yes.
OMG. WTF.
Erin, today we're going to talk about the SBC, which stands for Sissy Bitch Cats. I would love to own a sissy bitch. I'm so obsessed with cats these days, even though
what
I'm
is
allergic.
Happening?
With cats?
Yeah.
They're just the best. But actually, the SBC in this case does stand for something else besides. I know everyone immediately went to Sissy Bitch Cat, but it actually stands for dun, 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 the Southern Baptist Convention. Now, the Southern Baptists are the largest Protestant denomination in the United States. They're over 13 million members. Now, you might remember something that happened with the Southern Baptist Church a few years ago, so I'm going to talk about that, but ultimately I'm talking about what has just happened last week.
Okay.
So they meet, I don't know how often, maybe once a year, maybe less, but they...
and they do all their weird planning where they go, how are we going to ruin the world?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the Southern Baptist Church has 47,000 churches in the United States.
Oh, God.
And in this convention, it's like 10,000 church leaders who all meet together, vote on shit, pass resolutions, like all of this stuff, almost like a giant Congress.
Mm-hmm.
So they gathered last week, and one of the things they did was endorse a resolution that would seek to overturn the legalization of same-sex marriage by the U.S. Supreme Court. For those of you, obviously, who remember, it's Obergefell versus Hodges was that decision in 2015 that allowed same-sex marriage. And so they met to call to a reversal on that, and also calling for civil laws to affirm marriage, quote, between a man and a woman, opposing same-sex marriage, gender identity, recognition, pornography.
Well, they already did it in Texas. You know, you can't look at porn on Texas without a VPN.
Know. Yeah, when I'm in Texas, I can't even find any.
Well, you could get a VPN.
I know, but do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
And sports betting. And they voted to oppose willful childlessness. Okay. The same-sex decision, though, or this idea that they would vote on resolving to affirm marriage or to have civil laws do it, and also to reverse Obergefell versus Hodges, the same-sex marriage decision. This was the first time that this issue came up at their convention. That is actually shocking because it's been the law of the land for 10 years. Why didn't this come up in 2015, 16, 17, 18? And I'll tell you why. It's because, and this should be very scary that things like this are coming up now, not to, whatever, fearmonger, but the reason it's happening is because they see a vulnerability. There are so many laws on the books or going forth through local legislatures and along with obviously federal ones. They see an opening.
Well, it's the same with this, the willful childlessness, I would assume.
Exactly. They see an opening for the first time in 10 years, even though allegedly same-sex marriage is okay with 70% of this population. That frankly actually isn't enough, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be more like 85 or 90, but whatever. They see an opening where this administration would back them, where governments would, local governments, state governments would even ban or support them. And I'll tell you, logistically, a reversal of Obergefell versus Hodges, the marriage decision, wouldn't in and of itself amount to a nationwide ban. Because actually, when that happened, when same-sex became the law of the land, same-sex marriage became the law of the land, 36 states had already legalized same-sex marriage. So it wouldn't necessarily, if that were overturned, it wouldn't necessarily fall for everybody. But still, like, you want to be able to go from one state to the next and have your legal marriage recognized. God forbid.
Yeah, I mean, it's back to where you talked about when we first started this podcast of this, like, fucking... remember you did a whole travel thing where you're like if you went from this state to this state?
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. Like your marriage could be recognized here. God forbid one of you gets sick. God forbid one of you gets in a car accident. Like, and you're in a state that doesn't recognize it. Like it's all out the window. That's the point of having a federal protection.
Yes.
So the SBC's Southern Baptist Convention unanimously passed this resolution and said that marriage and family laws should reflect biblical principles.
Yeah. Okay.
Which would emphasize traditional gender roles. This is their words: fertility, procreation, and again, condemning willful childlessness. I have a dark age of shit to call it that. I gotta be honest with you.
Willful childlessness.
Which is essentially someone's decision not to have a child.
And let's be real who it affects. Of course. It's not straight men.
No. So, dark ages shit. By the way, I've always hated the word willful because I've always associated it with like chastising a child, like willfully ignorant or willful disobedience. Like, when people use the word willful to describe like a 6-year-old, it's so nauseating to me. And I do feel like there's something so demeaning about that word.
And it's also that there's like this subtext of the person putting the willfulness label on this other person, I know I'm right. Mm-hmm. I have the answers. I know how you should behave.
Yep.
Like there's a weird like warden like energy with that, you know?
We're also living in a time where like what you say just goes and denial is the truth or something. Like I'm not explaining it right, but just someone can be like, we have all this proof something happened, and you can say, no, it didn't. And there's no repercussion for that.
That's it.
And what I'm referring to is it was only just a few years ago that it was revealed that the church, the Southern Baptist Church, was covering up hundreds of cases of sexual abuse, at least 700 cases, at least.
Especially in fucking Texas.
Exactly. In fact, the San Antonio newspaper and the Houston Chronicle were the ones who
broke those
together
stories?
Broke this story. Years of sexual abuse, taking the playbook from the Catholic Church, moving predators to different congregations, ignoring victims for decades. And so they said, mea culpa, sorry about that. We are now going to create a database for, the victims here and make sure we go after these people and all of this stuff. Well, that database that they created for victims and to sort of prosecute and, excommunicate these predators who had done this in the church, people in high power position like preachers who were abusing women, children, the works. That database was completely abandoned by the Southern Baptist Church. And again, this story only broke like 4 years ago. Completely abandoned by the Southern Baptist Church. The funding that they had created and allocated to go after these predators and the funding for restitution for the victims is now being used by the Southern Baptist Church for legal defenses, not for survivor care as they were originally intended.
Yep.
So while people are condemning same-sex marriage, condemning pornography, condemning a person's right and a woman's right to do exactly what she wants with her body, and not even just that, but like to make decisions for her livelihood. It was only a few years ago that this came out. They said sorry, and then now have completely reversed it and have not done a fucking thing. While this is so for them to have any moral superiority is so shocking to me. Like it just the absolute gall to do that is horrifying. There's no bigger hypocrisy than that. So while, by the way, they were meeting at the same time, the death of a person who I didn't know called Jennifer Lyle, who was the preeminent voice for survivors in this scandal, she died at the same time this convention happened. And this really became a bigger story than the convention itself. She, by the way, Jennifer Lyle was a person that they had really put at the forefront originally of being a Southern Baptist success story. At 20 years old, she went to like a Billy Graham crusade. Her life changed from it. She went to a seminary. She became the vice president of something called Lifeway, which was the Southern Baptist Convention of it was like their newspaper, essentially, or newsletter. But then she talked about how she'd been sexually abused and spiritually abused by a high-ranking member of the church, including that she had been coerced into sexual acts without her consent. And afterward was asked to join by this person who was abusing her, would ask her to join family meals with his family. And after they would have sex, after he would coerce her into having sex, he would tell her to clean her face and repent. Dark ages, dastardly, disgusting, morally reprehensible shit. It is so, and by the way, she died of very sad. She was only 47 and died of I think she'd had a terrible stroke or something like this. But that sort of overshadowed the convention and really, in a wild way, made those sexual abuse allegations and scandals come back to the fore during a time when they're trying to take a moral high ground on something. It's disgusting for them to preach family values. I frankly can't believe anyone would be a member of this church after this. Like, horrifying shit. But they see an opening. So it is disgusting to position yourself as defenders of traditional family when you enabled abusers and continue to, when you ignore any path to justice that these victims might have, and you raise money to protect the abusers. It's disgusting.
Who are they really working for? That's what, like, because it's not this guy or whatever, that guy, whoever that guy is, you know?
Yep.
Whatever's up there.
The Southern Baptist Church is a church of moral failure. Mm-hmm. Complete. So
it's run by a bunch of fucking goblins.
Right. Exactly. So I've never given it I don't care at all what they say, except that there are 13 million members of this church, which means there are probably around almost a million, if not a million, queer people in that church, because you have to think 8 to 10%. Mm-hmm. Fuck that place and fuck what they're doing. And honestly, like, I don't know. It's so gross to me to seek an opportunity when something is vulnerable. Like, it's so horrifying to be like, well, guys, now that everyone hates queer people and trans people, now that that's hot again, like, let's make a move. You're disgusting. You don't care about your congregants. Because if you did, you would absolutely protect them in these situations, and you would completely banish everyone who has abused the system in this case and their positions of power.
Stop morally controlling everyone else and start looking at how your own morals have failed and start fixing that. That's a good use of your time.
Anyone who passes judgment in that way and who is out to get other members of this population and the most vulnerable ones, as you mentioned in your shoe, like, we need to have, there needs to be a private eye on every single one of the people who accuse these people of things, of being immoral.
I would love it. I'm here for that.
There should be an automatic private detective on the case. I know I'm frozen. Did I unfreeze?
You're back.
Thank God. All right.
I'm ready for some Les Mis shit. You know what I mean?
Me too. Did you see that tweet that JD Vance wrote about it?
About Les Mis? No.
Talking about how he was like, I asked my wife, hey, is Les Mis the one about that barber that kills people? She laughed for 5 minutes and said, no, that's Sweeney Todd. I don't know what I'm seeing tonight. Honey, you know what Les Mis is. You know what Les Mis is. What was that about? So performative. What was that about?
What? Why are you tweeting that you don't know what Les Mis is?
We know that you know what Les Mis is.
Why?
Yeah.
Thou doth protest
100%.
too much.
100%.
Okay, we got some beautiful
Gorgeous.
Patreon and iTunes reviews. No, it looks like it's just Patreon and a DM. Okay.
Patreon and a DM. Yeah.
Sarah H., I'm cringe watching and just like that and love it. The writing has to be AI. Here's the thing. I don't
Sam
think
Pancake was in the last episode of And Just Like That. He was
good
fantastic.
For Sam.
I know.
Jenny Couchman said, I'm probably a bad person because I know it would cause her to die a little inside, but I would love to hear Erin react to Vicky Gunvalson quotes for half an hour. I'll do it.
Who Vicky Gunvalson is?
Yeah, she's OC. Yeah. She's a real estate agent.
Wait, Sergio, for one of this new thing we're doing.
She's a tall real estate agent and she's divorced?
Wrong. Well, partly right. She was never a real estate agent. She sells life insurance.
Oh yeah. She has very blonde hair.
That's every OC housewife.
And she also has a little bit of like, I'm sorry, I will only shame people who I think.
Oh no, she's not a good person. I mean.
She has like a thumb for a face.
Okay, Erin, you know what? Yes.
She looks like a popsicle stick. From head to toe.
Sure.
Okay.
But I think that's everybody. We're all just popsicle sticks.
When you think about it.
Ryan says, I had the privilege of seeing Bryan perform last week and can confirm the new song is a certified banger.
What's the new song called?
It's called People Pleasing, but it's essentially a song about me trying to return a shirt. But I am so nervous I hate returning clothes because I always feel when they ask me why, I panic and then I end up buying 2 more. So the song is about that, about buying and returning a shirt and how I panic during it. Okay. And Jessica R. says, I grew up in Indy and was a bartender in the owner's suites for a few races. Carb Day is the biggest party day outside of race day. We used to keep binoculars behind the bar to people watch the sunburnt bros with their t-shirts shoved into the back pocket of their jorts.
They're tarps if you're a Canadian listening. Thank you. I'll just do a little translation.
And Amatrine says, Bryan, if you go to Yonkers and visit a store for groceries, you must go to the Stu Leonard's. I'm dying to go to Stu Leonard's.
It's got animatronics.
Yes. And I believe it's like IKEA where there's like, it's one directional.
Oh, another reason for me to move to Yonkers.
Honey, Yonkers.
I am obsessed. What reason do I have to be obsessed with Yonkers?
What was the catalyst?
No idea.
Okay. Oh, that there were owls there, which it turns out there's not.
There's wildlife and it's by the river and it's close to the city, but not in the city. It's far away from the city, but you have access to the city.
We got a DM from Christopher who sat next to me at Joe's Pub, and this is a good one, Erin. You should read it.
Yeah,
It's revelatory.
OMG, I listened to the episode. I loved it. Please tell Erin she was right. She did meet us on a ranch. Bryan remembered it wrong. LOL, regards to your husband, the judge. The response was, he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
So
you said he was married to a judge. But you know what? A lawyer is, if you're a judge, you were probably a lawyer.
Well, I'm so sad that New Mexico has lost you guys.
I know.
They moved, huh? I get it. Listen, it's for retirees and people like me. I think
they moved there, especially like during the pandemic.
Yeah, it is for people who really want to check out a society like I do.
I understand.
But I get it. It's a sleepy place to be.
Sure.
Thank you everyone for listening. We have a lady attorney episode coming up. If you would be at all interested in joining our Patreon and becoming a lady attorney, you can do that right away at patreon.com/attitudes. And in the meantime, we'll slime you next week.
Yeah, for sure.